1274 BCE. The thundering of 5,000 chariots shakes the Syrian plains as two of antiquity's mightiest empires clash in history's greatest chariot battle. On one side stands Ramesses II, Egypt's most celebrated pharaoh, leading an army of 20,000. On the other, the formidable Muwatalli II, king of the Hittites, commanding a force that would make even the bravest warrior tremble. The prize, control of ancient Syria, the strategic crossroads of the known world. But this is more than just a tale of clashing armies. It's a story of espionage, tactical deception, and raw courage that would echo through millennia. This is the Battle of Qadesh, where legends were forged, empires hung in the balance, and history itself would be written in chariot tracks and bronze. Ancient Syria was the prize that every empire coveted, a land where fortunes were made and empires could rise or fall. Situated at the crucial intersection of three continents, it was the beating heart of the Bronze Age world. Through its veins, the great trade routes, flowed the lifeblood of civilization. Precious Lebanese cedar worth its weight in gold, lapis lazuli from distant Afghanistan, tin from the edges of Europe, and ivory from the heart of Africa. The legendary Levantine corridor, stretching from the Nile to the Euphrates, was the ancient world's Silk Road, a highway of wealth that made kings and built temples. At its heart stood Qadesh, a fortress city commanding the Orontes River, its mighty walls guarding the gateway to Syria's riches. This was no mere battlefield. It was a melting pot where Canaanite merchants haggled in bustling markets, where Amorite princes built grand palaces, and where Aramean caravans brought tales from distant lands. Here, gods of a dozen nations were worshipped side by side, and the culture of millennia merged and flourished. The empire that controlled Syria didn't just command its wealth. They held the key to dominating the known world. It was this prize that would draw two mighty empires into a clash that would shake the foundations of the ancient world. In the wake of Akhenaten's religious revolution and the chaos it unleashed, Egypt's grip on its Asian territories had weakened dramatically. The Hittites, seizing their moment, began an aggressive expansion southward. Their brilliant king, Suppiluliuma Futsat, orchestrated a masterful campaign that turned Syrian princes into loyal vassals, building an empire that stretched from Anatolia to the borders of Egypt itself. The Egyptian response came under Pharaoh Seti I, who launched 9 major campaigns to reclaim Egypt's lost glory, temporarily capturing Qadesh but unable to hold it against the Hittite tide. Enter his son, Ramesses II, ascending to the throne at just 25 years old. Young, ambitious, and determined to outshine his illustrious father, Ramesses assembled the largest army Egypt had ever seen. His force was divided into 4 divisions, each named for a powerful Egyptian god: Amun, the hidden one; Ra, the sun god; Ptah, the creator; and Set, the god of chaos and storms. Each division numbered approximately 5,000 men, supported by squadrons of swift 2-man chariots, lighter and more maneuverable than their Hittite counterparts. The young pharaoh's goal was clear: reclaim Qadesh and assert Egyptian dominance once and for all. But the Hittite king Muwatalli II had been preparing for this moment, gathering allies and assembling an army that would make the very earth tremble. The stage was set for a clash that would determine the fate of empires. Dawn breaks over the plains of Qadesh. Ramesses II, convinced by captured Hittite spies that the enemy is still far away, advances confidently with his Amun division. But these prisoners are actually part of an elaborate deception by Mu'tali II, perhaps the first documented military intelligence operation in history. Behind the walls of Qadesh lurks a massive Hittite force, 37,000 infantry and 3,500 chariots, each carrying 3 warriors, a driver, a shield bearer, and a spearman. These heavy chariots are mobile fortresses designed to smash through enemy lines with devastating force. As Ramesses makes camp, the trap is sprung. The Hittite chariots emerge from behind Qadesh, crossing the Orontes River through a hidden ford. They strike the unsuspecting Ra division like a thunderbolt, cutting through Egyptian lines and sending survivors fleeing in panic toward Ramesses' position. The Egyptian army begins to collapse. In this moment of crisis, Ramesses II finds himself in a situation that will become legendary. According to his own account, inscribed on temple walls across Egypt, he stands virtually alone against 2,500 enemy chariots. What follows is either history's greatest act of royal bravery or its most magnificent piece of propaganda. Ramesses, with only his personal guard, charges headlong into the Hittite forces. "I was before them like Set in his moment of power," he would later boast, claiming to have single-handedly turned the tide. The truth is likely more complex. As Ramesses fights desperately, his lighter, more maneuverable chariots prove surprisingly effective against the heavier Hittite vehicles. The arrival of the Nearin, a mysterious allied force, strikes the Hittite flank at the crucial moment. The battle descends into chaos, a swirling storm of chariots, arrows, and spears that transforms the peaceful Syrian plain into a landscape of destruction. As the sun sets on this bloodiest of days, neither side has achieved its ultimate objective, but both have demonstrated the awesome, destructive power of Bronze Age warfare at its peak. The dust settled over Qadesh, but the true victory belonged to neither side. While Ramesses II returned to Egypt proclaiming triumph, commissioning massive temple reliefs showing himself as a godlike warrior, single-handedly routing the Hittite army, the reality was far different. Qadesh remained firmly in Hittite hands. For 16 years, the two empires continued their deadly dance of skirmishes and raids. Then, in 1258 BCE, an extraordinary document was created, the Treaty of Qadesh. Written in both Egyptian hieroglyphs and Hittite cuneiform, this remarkable agreement, humanity's oldest surviving peace treaty, now rests in the United Nations headquarters as a testament to ancient diplomacy. Its terms were revolutionary: mutual defense pacts, extradition agreements, and even provisions for political refugees. The treaty was sealed with an unprecedented diplomatic marriage, Ramesses II taking a Hittite princess as his great royal wife, granting her the Egyptian name Mathorn Ferrier, one who sees Horus and Ra. This union transformed bitter enemies into powerful allies, creating a peace that would last for generations. The Battle of Qadesh marked the pinnacle of Bronze Age warfare and forever changed the ancient world. It represented the absolute zenith of chariot combat. Never again would such massive chariot forces clash on this scale. Ramesses II's masterful propaganda campaign, carved into the walls of 6 major temples, including Abu Simbel, created one of history's first large-scale attempts to control historical narrative through public media. These magnificent reliefs, some still standing today, tell us as much about the power of propaganda as they do about ancient warfare. But perhaps the battle's greatest legacy lies in the diplomatic revolution that followed. The Treaty of Qadesh became a template for international relations, establishing principles of mutual respect and cooperation that would influence diplomacy for millennia to come. In many ways, the Battle of Qadesh marked both an ending and a beginning, the last great clash of the Bronze Age empires, and the first step toward a new era of international diplomacy. The Battle of Qadesh stands as a testament to humanity's eternal struggles for power, for glory, for control of vital resources. From the clash of thousands of chariots on the Syrian plains emerged not just tales of heroism and military innovation, but lessons that still resonate today. The battle reminds us that even the mightiest empires can fight to a standstill, that propaganda can outlive truth, and that lasting peace often grows from the seeds of bitter conflict. In the end, what began as history's greatest chariot battle became something far more significant, a turning point that showed even the ancient world's most powerful rivals could transform from enemies into allies. Perhaps that is Qadesh's greatest legacy. The reminder that in the grand sweep of history, the pen can ultimately prove mightier than the chariot,